Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's Thursday. We're going to cover a couple of stories. Obviously, markets were down today. Bitcoin was down. Ethereum was down today. We'll take a look at what's going on there. We'll take a look at the miners. For the most part, they were down as well. We'll take a look at what's going on there. And we have some news story from Sphere 3D. They finally got the restructuring done with Bitfufu news. So they're going to be about 2/3 smaller. So we'll get into all the details on that as well. And as always, not financial advice. You guys know the drill here. I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and the notification bell. Helps me out tremendously. And let's get into the market, see how they did along with Bitcoin and everything else. All right. So S&P was down 0.8% to 3,665. Dow Jones was down 0.3% to 30,333, and the NASDAQ was down 0.51% to 11,046. So not a good ending to the week. We still obviously tomorrow we'll see how things go, but it's not starting out well. Next, Bitcoin is down 0.53% to 19,022. It has fallen below our 19,000 line, which we don't have here, but it has been bouncing off of it a little bit here. And this is on the 1 hour chart right now. RSI has been going up while the price has also been coming down here, so that's not a good sign. Looking at the valleys here, we can see last time we were right around here. We were higher in price even at that point. So, yeah, it's not looking too good right now. It's looking more bearish than it is bullish, at least on the short term. Same thing on the daily chart. If we look at it, it is looking, price is coming down. Valley here. Other one over here, so we're still lower in price on this one, so it's not looking too good. I think our next possible stop is going to be somewhere around the 18,750 mark. That's going to be possibly our next support here. Otherwise, we're falling down to possibly, well, I think maybe 1850. 18,500 might be in the next line. Other than that, we don't know where we might go below it if we do go below it. We've obviously been battling with the 19,500 mark here for the last couple of days, weeks actually. Haven't been able to stay above it, and we'll just see how it goes. Ethereum is down 0.24% to 1,281. It is also looking the same way as Bitcoin. It is trending down lower. It's looking bearish right now, short term. Same thing with the long term on the daily chart. So we'll just keep an eye on it, see what happens over the weekend. Obviously, we got Friday tomorrow. I don't know if we have any options expiries happening. If not, we'll keep an eye on it anyways and see what happens there. Next is the miners. So ANY, actually with the news today, was up 5.29% to 40 cents. Argo was down another 14.69% to 13.5 cents. They have been obviously been beaten down here quite a bit ever since diluting shares, getting more money, and selling some miners, I believe. So it's obviously taken a pretty big hit here recently. It has fallen quite a bit. If we look at it, where's my measuring? There it is. From when the news broke out down to right around here, they are down about 70% from that point. So obviously not a good path for them. Next is Bit Digital. They were down 1.42% to 98 cents today. Bitfarm was down 0.35% to 93 cents. CleanSpark was down 1.7% to $2.89. Cores was up actually 4.61% to 98 cents. DigiHost was down 11% to 53 cents. DMG was down 4.79% to 16.5 cents. Greenedge was down 0.97% to $1.02. Hive was down 3.5% to $3.03. And they're coming kind of up on their, towards the bottom here of the 52 weeks low, along with some of the other miners. Hut 8 was down 4.17 to $1.84. Iris Energy was down 6.08% to $3.09. And they are pretty much at their lowest here back from June now. You can see it here as well. Luxfolio was actually up 0.48% to 6 cents and change. Marathon was down 1.36% to 10.92. Mawson was actually up 3.79 to 42 cents. Riot was down 1.59% to $5.58. Soluna was up 3.91% to $1.86. Stronghold was up 0.53% to 92 cents. And that is it on the miners. Let's take a look at the network hash rate, see what's going on there. We'll refresh this, and it has actually fallen down a little bit here. We are at 258,000 roughly. So it has been coming down a little bit, and we'll see how this continues on. Like I said, I still think we're going to get to close to 300 million by the end of the year. And we have obviously, 2 months to go and change. So we'll see how close we are to that. And let's take a look at our first story. First story is obviously from Sphere 3D. So they have obviously been restructuring the miner equipment contract with Bitfufu. We've known about this for quite a while. So the new contract applies prepaid deposits to secure immediate shipments of 1.7 exahash of capacity. This is not the total that they're going to have, but this is in addition to what they already got, basically. And it eliminates purchase obligations for miners at above current market rates. So that's a good thing. They obviously were buying at the peak last year. And then grows Sphere 3D mining fleet dramatically in 2022, which is also true. So let's see here. It has, where did I go? So Sphere 3D has restructured its purchase agreement for 6 exahash per second of capacity, or approximately 60,000 S19J Pros with Fufu Technologies, Bitfufu. This will apply to all deposits paid by Sphere, 106.9 million paid to date to Bitfufu toward the delivery of approximately 1.7 exahash of S19J Pros to Sphere 3D during 2022. So these they got in at, if you do the calculations on this, I believe it came in, let me do the math here really quick. I believe they came in at like $5,000 and change per miner on this. Let me throw out my calculator app here really quick. Let's see here. I should have done this beforehand, but I didn't. So we got 106,900,000. I went too far on that. So you're divided by, they're getting 17 exahash divided by 17,000 miners. That equals, to put in a 0. So for those 17, it looks like it was 6,288 for the cost. But if we include what they're going to actually be at 2.1 exahash, that would be 21,000 miners. And that equals to $5,090 basically for their 2.1 exahash. So each miner cost them $5,090, which is still above what the current market is at. But at least it got them down in price on that. They didn't have anything, I don't believe, in the contract that stipulated if prices fall that they would get lower pricing. So that was obviously well, how do I put this? I don't want to be too negative, but it was obviously a bad choice there. Other miners have obviously that kind of language in their contracts that if prices start to fall, those numbers get adjusted as obviously deliveries come in. They didn't have that in there, so luckily they were able to at least get like 50% off on the miners that they basically bought. For last year, they were going around 10,000, 11,000 for the miners, so they got them at 5,090. That's still higher than what they are right now. You can pick them up in the markets, on the spot markets, and I'm thinking some of the other miners can get them directly from Antminer for around 2,500, somewhere around there, 2,500, 3,000 maybe at the most. So they obviously still overpaid, but they did get a better deal than what they originally had. So that's a plus for them. So let's see here, continuing on. So the restructured contract initially entered into with Bitfufu in September of 2021, right? That was right before the peak when Bitcoin went to 69,000 in November. Will apply all deposits paid by Sphere 3D, the 169 million, for toward the delivery of approximately 1.7 exahash. Okay, we recovered that. The restructuring also relieves Sphere 3D from obligations of the old contract, requiring the company to purchase an additional 3.9 exahash of capacity, approximately 39,000 miners, at a rate significantly above current market prices for S19J Pros, which is true. So if we take 1.7, combine it with 3.9, we only end up at 5.6 exahash. So it seems like they already have 400 petahash that they already basically received from Bitfufu, and that's not being included in this. And we'll take a look at the numbers that I have for them here shortly. So the restructuring also eliminates substantial penalties due to Bitfufu from Sphere 3D. So that's actually pretty good news there as well. And then you just have some comments here from the CEO. There isn't much here that we haven't already covered in there. The only thing that's in here is that she, here we go. We believed it's prudent to scale. We believe it to be prudent to scale back our financial obligations to Bitfufu and push the option of adding exahash into 2023, as many of our industry colleagues have done. So basically, they're kicking the can down the road, but hopefully they can buy, if they do purchase miners, they're going to be able to buy them at a much better rate or a better cost on those instead of the 5,090. So that's actually pretty good, and we'll have to see how this all plays out for them. And that is it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them really quick, and we'll call it a day. It's kind of quiet here. I'm still waiting on, who am I waiting on? I'm still waiting on somebody. Let's see here. I'm waiting on, no, there's, oh, I want to go over here. Sorry. So we're waiting on Soluna still to provide their monthly production update. When that comes out, I'll get you guys updated on that. But for the time being, we got, where's Sphere? There it is, Sphere. So here's what's going on with the miners. So originally they were supposed to get 60,000 miners to get them to 6 exahash. Right now, we know that they are operating at 100 petahash, at least at the end of September. And we can go back here to their September release, which they said that, let me see here. They didn't provide what they are hashing at, but they did provide that they are going to be getting 4,026 additional miners now landed, 540 are installed and awaiting energization. So that is actually above the number that they're going to be at, or if you add all the numbers together, I think they're getting some of the miners taken out to get to 21,000 miners, 2.1 exahash. And here's what we have on that. So this is the tranches that they were supposed to get. Obviously, this didn't play out for them. They got 100 of those miners in the beginning of the year. Those were installed, running throughout the whole year. They were supposed to get some more in May, June, July. That didn't happen, obviously, because of customs, other problems that they had. So now they're supposed to get those in possibly this month and into next month. They're supposed to get those installed. And then they were supposed to get 2,000 continuing on, and then 12,000 here from September through December to get into the 60,000. Obviously, that contract has changed. They reorganized or restructured it, and now they're only getting 21,000 miners total for 2.1 exahash. So basically, we have them at 1,000 miners that they already got, plus the additional 2,000 from May, June, July, 5,000 from August, and then an additional 9,000 here in September, which is actually going to be more like November, December timeframe. But the interesting part of this all is if they actually can get all these miners installed, say by the end of November, early December, if they mine for 31 days in December, with the current price of Bitcoin where it's at 19,400 something on average for the month of September, we're looking at about $4.8 million in revenue for them. If they get it down to 20 days of mining with all these miners, we're looking at approximately $3 million somewhere in there. So that's obviously a big, big jump for them, especially that they were only mining here in September. What was it? 200,000 right now. October is looking to be possibly a little bit less, depending on how many days they're actually mining. We got about 31 for October, but we'll see. So that might obviously help them tremendously improve that revenue number for 3,000. And if we look at the quarterly numbers, we're looking, obviously, they only made 544,000 in Q1. Q2 was 1.1 million. Q3 was actually down 763,000. And now December obviously is going to be their possibly their best quarter here to date at 3.5 million roughly, if everything works out the way it is down there. That's just an estimate right now. Now, if we look at it, obviously, we're not taking into account their December numbers yet. We're only taking into account the previous 2 quarters, and the current quarter is an estimate. Like I said, they're only looking to make about 1.3 million so far for this year. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. That can't be correct. 763,000. We got last 3 quarters of 1.9. Oh, 50%. So we're looking at 2.6 million combined for the first quarter, second quarter, and potentially for the third quarter. We're looking at 2.6 million, 50% net income from gross revenue. We're looking at 42 cents per share on the stock. Stock is at 40 cents right now. This leads me to believe that they are obviously pretty well valued right now based on what they are making, but they're also being, that's a PE of 20. Other miners right now are getting a PE of 2, of 1, of 3. So this is highly overvalued right now, in my opinion, based on where everything else with the miners. Now, once they start getting the miners installed and they get to 3.5 million in revenue, that might obviously change a little bit. So let's see if we can maybe add that number, and we'll also add the final number here. So we'll get 4 quarters worth of data. Now we're looking more like 98 cents possibly. That I would think would be a reasonable price for them. Excuse me, at a P of 20. But seeing how the miners have been beaten down, I would go more towards the 10 PE. So we're looking at 49 cents to 74 cents on the high end. And then if you go 15 PE ratio on it, we're looking at 74 cents to $1.10. All right, so that's kind of where I would see them potentially being at. They obviously don't have too many shares out, 63 million. Market cap is very low as well. And they do have pretty good miners. I mean, they're going to be pretty much on average 100 terahashes per the miners. So that's good there. They're going to be pretty efficient as well. And then we'll see how they can grow forward. Maybe they can pick up the 140 terahash miners pretty cheap, especially trying to get to 6 exahash. They obviously came out with news last year that they're going to be working with, I think it was a defunct new miners, right? Those were supposed to be like the 340 terahash miners, and that never came to fruition. They were supposed to get to like 33 exahash or something like that by the end of next year or something. That never played out. So they obviously have pretty big goals, and we'll see how they can obviously execute on those. But right now, I think it is just a little bit overvalued based on where everything else with the miners. But let me know what you guys think, obviously, in the comments down below. I love chatting with you guys there. And that's it. We'll call it a day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And then we'll get into the smaller miners this weekend. So we'll go over, which ones will we go over? We'll go over, where are they? We'll go over possibly DigiHost, DMG, and Soluna. They're one of the, obviously, the smaller miners here that we do have. We'll see how they did and how they compare to each other, basically. Which one might be a better buy there. So we'll do that video over this weekend. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. Spreadsheets available to my Patreon members as always. Thank you to everyone there for their continued support. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you all for watching. Bye.